Namo Buddhaya. Imagine a situation that you have been accused for a mistake that you haven't done. So when someone scolds you, or when someone complains you about a mistake that you haven't done, can you maintain your inner peace at that moment? Can you be kind to that person at that moment? Most of us loses our temper and we start to prove ourselves that we are not wrong and you are the person who has gone wrong. So is it okay to do such things in such situations? Is it okay to always to prove that we are right in such situations? No. In some situations, we have to stay silent, we have to stay kind, and we have to maintain our inner peace without getting frustrated. So how to stay calm and peaceful within such adversive situations? Here's how to do it. In Dhamma, it says, if you stay like water, if you had a mind like water, you will have the opportunity to stay calm during such adversive environments. So how to stay like water? In Supreme Buddha's Dhamma, it describes about the water. The nature of the water is it can accept every negative thing. Now people use water for cleaning purposes. They wash their hands, they wash blood, pus, urine, and so many disgusting things. But yet, water does not complain. It does not blame. It does not become angry. It always maintains its peacefulness and it is always cool. So what you have to do in such situations, in such adversive situations, you have to stay like water. You have to say to yourself that I must stay like water and I'm not going to say anything and I'm not going to prove that I am right. So always maintain your inner peace. Don't let anyone to distract that. Don't let anyone to control your emotions and make you sad. Because if you make your mentality and spirituality distracted, that disadvantage is yours. If you maintain your inner peace in such adversive situations, that advantage is also yours. So what you have to do? You have to stay like water. Accept and absorb every negative things that comes from outer world. It may be criticism, it may be blames, scoldings. Whatever the things they are, you have to absorb them and you have to emit another good thing to this world. You can be kind to them. You can stay silent and you can be patient. The more you develop these divine qualities, you can live happily in your life. You can have a heart that is without the anger and resentment. When your heart is escaped from anger and resentment, you can live freely and you can sleep better. So what you have to do? Stay like water. Be like water. The more you be like water, the more your life will be cooled. So I wish you all, may all of you have the opportunity to be like water and find the ultimate happiness in this world. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. So many people in this society may think that in order to live a happy life, always we should gather the things to ourselves. We should surround ourselves with comfortable things. And they may think that we should not give anything to anyone. Giving is a waste. That is how people think. And also people ask why we should give the things to others. Because others can also earn what they want. So why we should give? Well, today from this Inner Guide Q&A program, we are going to find why we should give and also what are the benefits of giving. So first of all, let's talk about why we should give, right? So giving is an act of kindness, right? Being generous is an act of kindness, right? If you have a kind heart, if you have a compassionate heart, you will tend to give more to people, right? Do you know the meaning of the compassion? Compassion means the feeling of sympathy or feeling of sad when someone is going through a hardship, right? If you have that compassionate heart, you will try to give more to this world because world needs the humans' help. Humans need humans' help. So that is why Supreme Buddha taught us that you should give. Because if you give, when you are giving something to someone, now suppose you are giving food to a person who is very hungry, suffering with hunger, right? If you give that food to that person, he will feel comfortable, right? He will overcome his hunger and he will be happy maybe for one day. But when you give that food to that person, you will feel happy, right? You will feel a mental happiness within yourself. That happiness will last long until the end of your life. Whenever you remember that act of kindness that has done by yourself, you will feel very happy about yourself. You can be proud about yourself. That happiness cannot be bought for money. Remember. And also, giving is an act that the people with stronger mindsets, stronger personalities always do. The people who are with low qualities, bad qualities will not give, right? They are not generous. They are a bit stingy in their life, right? They always think, if I need to be happy, I need to gather the things. I need to surround myself with pleasurable things. I should not give. Giving is a waste. That is how they think. That is why we need to practice the generosity. If you need a happiness that lasts long forever, start giving. See the joy of giving. It is very joyful and it is very enjoyable. So it is how amazing that when you see a person who is overcoming his hunger, having the food that is given by you, and when he is smiling, you feel that mental happiness, right? That is one of the greatest happy moments that we'll have in your life. So that is why you need to give always. Be a generous person. Okay, then let's talk about that what are the benefits of giving. So Supreme Buddha taught us there are 5 benefits of a generous person. There are 5 benefits that can be found to a generous person. Number 1, Supreme Buddha said, he will be agreeable and he will be a nice and pleasurable person to many people. Right? When you give something to someone, they will be happy. Right? If you are a donor, if you are a generous person, always when people see yourself, they become happy. They may think, oh, this person is very generous. He's a nice person. He's a kind person. So he will be agreeable to many people. That is the first benefit. Number 2, Supreme Buddha said, good people will surround him. He will get into the association of good people. Now, if you have that quality, the generosity within you, it is the nature of this world that same things, the people will with same qualities get together, right? If you have the generosity, the people who are with the same mindset will surround you. It goes with another way. If you have the stinginess or if you have the evil thoughts within you, the people who are with evil thoughts will surround you. Evil friends will surround you. So if you are generous, always, noble people, good people, the people with good generosity will surround you. You will get into association with good people. That is the second benefit. Third one, Supreme Buddha said, he will acquire a good reputation in this world. Remember, people are not talking about your wealth. People doesn't talk about your wealth. Only people talk about how generous you were, how kind you are. That is what they talk about. So what you have to do, you need to give. You need to be generous. If you are being generous, you will acquire a good reputation in your life. The fourth benefit is, Supreme Buddha said, his life will be virtuous. You will acquire a good personality which is fault-free and which is free from the defilements, which is free from the evil things in your life. Because you are generating more compassionate thoughts towards others. You are generating more generous thoughts to others. So the more you generate these wholesome thoughts, the more you will have a good personality within you. So if you need to become a good person, if you need to become a virtuous person, if you need to have a confident personality, what you have to do? Be generous. Number 5, the final quality. Supreme Buddha said, by being generous, one acquires lots of merits. And as the result of those merits, Supreme Buddha said, he will have a good rebirth. Most of the people are not having a good rebirth in this world. So if you need to have a good rebirth, what you have to do is be generous, give to others. Giving is something that gives you the happiness. Gathering and holding on to the pleasurable things is something that makes you suffer. So start giving and see the joy of the giving and find the ultimate happiness in your life. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide program. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 great advices that our great teacher Supreme Buddha gave us in order to have a peaceful life forever. And also, if we follow these 3 instructions, Supreme Buddha told that you will have your rebirth in heaven. So what are these 3 instructions? Number 1, Supreme Buddha said, always speak the truth. If someone speaks the truth in his life, Supreme Buddha said, he can live a peaceful life. Now, telling lies is an easy thing to do. It's very easy. When you are in a problem, when you are in a difficult situation, you can tell a lie and just escape from that problem. But remember, you are not escaping from that bad karma, bad action. You cannot escape from those results of those bad actions. So telling lies is a thing that we should not do in our life. Whatever difficult situation comes up in our lives, whatever disadvantage that you get from telling the truth, you have to say that, because bitter truth is better than sweet lies. So our great teacher Supreme Buddha advised us to always speak the truth. That is the first advice. If we follow that advice, we will have our rebirth in heaven and we can live our life happily. Number 2, Supreme Buddha said, do not get angry. It is easy to get angry with someone. Our great teacher Supreme Buddha said, Sukharani asadhuni attano ahitanicha. It is very easy to do evil things which brings the unhappiness and suffering to us as well as to the others. So our great teacher Supreme Buddha said, you should always do what is good. Remember, doing good things is very hard. Being patient and not getting anger into your mind is very hard. We have to admit that. Though it is very hard, remember, if we did not do it, one day we will have to suffer because of our evil deeds. So maintain your inner peace by being not angry with anyone. Now, in this situation, you may not be angry with anyone. But when a problem comes up in your life, it is very hard to maintain your patience. It is very hard to maintain your kindness. It is very hard to maintain your compassion. So our great teacher Supreme Buddha advised us to practice love and kindness and do not be angry with anyone. If you maintain a peaceful mind without the anger, then you can be happy with your life. And also, Supreme Buddha advised us, and Supreme Buddha told us that the person who is not getting angry with anyone, the person who spreads his loving kindness to everyone, will reborn in heaven. So if you need a good rebirth, what you have to do not be angry. Number 3, the final advice. Supreme Buddha said, you have to give even if you have little. Now, if you have $1,000 and if you were to spend $1, it is very easy. But what will happen if you have $1 with you and you were to spend that dollar for someone? You were to donate that dollar for someone. Can you do that? It is very hard. But if someone becomes generous, even if he has little with him, Supreme Buddha said, that is the most worthiest gift. That is the maximum of being generous. That is the maximum point of generosity. That means to give even when we have little with us. Because if we were to give when we have a little, we are struggling with our ego in our mind. We are struggling with our craving in our mind. Because people do like very much for money and the things they are around us. They don't like to give them. They feel very hard to be generous. But if a person can live, if you can live with generosity, if you can give and donate and give alms to people, even when you have little, then you are being generous and you practice the generosity which brings the happiness to your life forever. And also, Supreme Buddha said, the generous person can have his rebirth in heaven. So, our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, advised us, you should practice these 3 tips or 3 instructions that was given by our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. If you practice these 3 advices, you will have a wonderful and peaceful life in this life as well as in the other. So practice this and may you have a wonderful and peaceful life in this world. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Today from this Inner Guide Q&A program, we are going to discuss how to be more productive in meditations. Today I'm going to share with you 3 tips which helps you a lot in meditations, to do your meditations without stopping. The first and the foremost tip that you need to practice in your meditations is to keep your expectations low. Because most of us sit for the meditation expecting that I'm going to meditate for 1 hour and I'm going to be concentrated throughout this meditation. Sometimes our mind is not ready to be concentrated. Now you know the nature of mind is it's like a monkey. It always runs here and there. It is easily distracted, easily frustrated. It is very clumsy. So if you make too much expectations, you will start to suffer because you are not having what you want in that meditation. So what you have to do is you have to know that the mind is impermanent. It will not be the same always. Sometimes your mind is very calm and quiet, and sometimes it will be frustrated and it will be more clumsy than you ever thought. So what you have to do, if you are meditating for maybe 15 minutes, if your mind become concentrated for only 1 minute, just you have to be happy with that. Do not expect too much, because the expectations stands for the sufferings. The more we expect, the more we will suffer. So keep your expectations low. When you are meditating, you always have to think that I will do my meditation as I can. Whether my meditation or whether my mind is concentrated for maybe 1 minute, it's okay. I can be happy with that. If you become happy with what you have, then you can move on. You have that willpower. You will get that willpower to move on to the next meditation. So people become frustrated when they meditate and when they not get what they want. So that is the first tip. Number 2, don't force your mind. Because the more we try to force our mind, the more our mind will be destructive. It's like a monkey. If we try to force a monkey to sit on a chair, what will happen? The monkey will not do that. It is not ready to do that. Same goes with your mind. If you force too much your mind to do the meditation, it will be frustrated and it will be panic more and more. So what you have to do not force your mind. Just let your mind to feel comfortable and relaxed in meditation. When your mind feels relaxed and comfortable in meditations, it will like to do the meditation again and again. So what you have to do is not to force your mind for the meditation too much. And that brings us for the third step. It is the consistency. There are some days that you don't get any concentration in your mind, in your meditations, right? Though you meditated for maybe 30 minutes, your mind would not be concentrated. But you should not give up. You should not stop. Because if we practice this consistency throughout this meditation, one day, there will be a day that your mind will get concentrated and your mind will obey your instructions. So what you have to do? Never give up in your meditations. Do it whether you got bad results also. Practice consistency. Consistency is the key for the perfection. Right? You don't want to be talented, you don't want to be clever at first in meditations. What you have to do, all you need to hang on to that meditation and do it again and again and again. One day, you will be perfect at meditations. So, practice these 3 tips and have a perfect and peaceful meditation in your life. Namo Buddhaya, Therwan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. Now, in society, we have heard some people may say, being kind is a weakness. The people who become kind to others are weak. People may say like that. So today, from this Inner Guide Q&A program, we are going to find that how to be kind without being weak. So first of all, we need to know that kindness itself is not a weakness. Kindness is a virtue. It is a great quality that you can have in your mind. But people consider the people who become kind to others, people who are very compassionate to others, are weak. But that is not the reality. So how can you be kind without being weak? So it reminds me a wonderful discourse in Supreme Buddha's teachings. In that discourse, it says, if you can maintain your patience when you are powerful than the other person, if you can maintain your inner peace when someone complains you or someone hurts you, even though you are more powerful than that person, that is the greatest patience that you can have in your life. So, being patient, being silent, doesn't define that you are weak. So, how to be kind and how to be patient without being weak? So, you should not go to the arena of negativeness. It means you should not be patient out of fear. And you should not go to the arena of aggressiveness. That means you should not be aggressive to others. Instead, you can be assertive. You should not be negative and you should not be aggressive. Instead, you can be assertive. So what do you mean by assertiveness? Assertiveness means being kind and maintaining your inner peace without being aggressive, and still you can be confident. If you can be confident as well as if you can be kind to others, that is what you call the assertiveness. So, when you be kind to other person, that does not mean that you are weak. So what you have to do when you become kind, you have to be wise also. So the kindness mixed with wisdom is the best kindness. You can be kind. If those evil people or toxic people comes to you and start hurting you again and again, you have to take yourself back. You can stay away from those people. You should not fall into the same trap again and again. Instead, you can be away from them. And that is what you call the assertiveness. So, in your life, you should be kind as well as wise. When you become kind and as well as wise, you become assertive. That is what the real kindness is. So don't let anyone to control your inner peace. Don't let anyone to change your emotions and make you sad. Instead, you should be assertive. You should maintain your inner peace and be confident and be patient and be kind to them, but never ever be angry and hurt others. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvon Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. In life, when we are dealing with people, sometimes we get into arguments with them. Sometimes people may accuse us for so many mistakes, maybe the mistakes that have been done by ourselves, and also for the mistakes that has done by others also. So, when we are in an argument, sometimes we may face those arguments in an unsuccessful way. If you face an argument in an unsuccessful way, you may hurt yourself as well as you may hurt the people who are complaining you. So today we are going to find out how to face an argument and how to deal with an argument when you're being accused. So today I need to share 2 useful tips that you need to practice in your life to win an argument without hurting others as well as without hurting yourself. This great advice was given by our great Arahant Sariputta. He was the chief disciple of our great teacher Supreme Buddha. So he was the great person who gave us this great advice. Our great Arahant Sariputta says, if you have been accused by someone, if you are in an argument, you need to practice these 2 tips. Number 1, first of all, you got to be cool. You need to stay cool always. It means you should not be angry. Because whenever your mind is covered or controlled by anger, Supreme Buddha taught us, if you speak out of that anger, your words are evil. So the evil words may hurt yourself as well as to the others. And if you act out of anger, those actions will be also evil. So those actions will cause damage for others as well as for you. So first thing that you have to do when you have been accused is to be cool, to be patient, right? Don't be panicked. Don't act out of anger. You need to control your emotions. If you can control your anger, you are a great person. Because many people in this world, they cannot control their anger. They just let the anger to pass out of them. They act in anger, they speak out of anger. Don't let that happen to yourself. Because anger is not something that you should be happy with yourself. Anger is a failure. Anger is a fault. And also remember, the people who are being angry always are weak. So you should control your emotions and you should stay cool whenever you are being accused. That is the first thing that you should do. And the second tip is you should always speak the truth. Now normally when we get into a trouble, when we are in an argument, when we are being accused by someone, normally people tend to speak lies, right? Because they like to escape from that problem by telling a lie. Remember, never ever lie in an argument. If something that has happened, if a mistake has happened by yourself, you need to say that I have done this. I admit this and I admit my fault and I will correct it. So you need to stay in the truth always, right? Never ever lie. Because sometimes if we lie in an argument, if we lie when we are being accused, we have to say 10 more lies to cover that, to protect that lie, to save that lie. If you tell the truth, right, you don't need to remember anything anymore, right? So if you speak the truth, you don't want to remember anything. Just you say the truth and let the things happen to yourself after telling the truth. Let it happen. Because bitter truth is better than sweet lies. So what you have to do, always speak the truth. Don't ever lie, right? So it will make a depression inside you, right? You need to remember everything that you said in that argument. So you need to speak these truth always. So these are the 2 tips to win an argument. Because if you speak truth, remember, the person who is accusing you may blame you, or you will get into a trouble in your life. But remember, after that argument, after that accusation, you will win the trust of that person. Because he may start to think, this person had the opportunity to tell a lie and escape from that problem, but he did not do that. And he will get that idea that you are a person that who always speak the truth. So it is better to have the trust of the people around you. So what you have to do? You have to speak the truth. As well as, if you stay cool, people will like you very much, because no one likes to be with an angry person. No one likes to associate an aggressive person. Always people like to associate people who are very cool, people who are not getting angry very much. So what you have to do in your life, practice these 2 tips to win an argument. If you practice and if you master these 2 tips in your life, I am very sure that you can win many arguments, you can win many problems in your life when you are dealing with people, as well as you will win the trust of the people around you. Namo Buddhaya, Therwan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Imagine if you kept a pot, a clay pot or a vessel under a dripping tap. What will happen to that vessel? The tiny droplets that is fallen from that tap will collected into that vessel, and with the time that vessel will be filled. But if you take the tiny drop of water, the little droplet of water, that cannot make any impact on the volume of that vessel. When we consider with the vessel, the volume of that vessel, the tiny droplet of water is nothing. But these tiny droplets of water is kept on falling into that vessel again and again continuously. With the time, that will make an impact, that will make a huge impact to the volume of the vessel. With the time, the vessel will be filled with water, and there will be a time that vessel will be overflowing with water. So our great teacher Supreme Buddha took this simile to explain a wonderful thing to our lives. Supreme Buddha taught, do not think lightly about the merits. Do not think lightly about the little good things, wholesome things that you do in your life, saying it will be not come to my life as a result. Normally, we don't give much consideration about the little things, little good things that we do in our life. Now, the nature of this life is always it's in this life, the little things matters. The little things, the little and subtle things that we do in our life will make a huge impact to all of our lives. So our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught that do not think lightly about your merits, that it will not come to my life as a result. Supreme Buddha said, drop by drop, the water pot is filled. Same like that, the wise person who is diligent in collecting merits, he collects the merits little by little, and one day his life will be filled with merits. So you have to give a big concern to the little good things, little wholesome deeds, little merits that you do in your day, because they are the good things that you do daily. Normally, people do good things in their life, but they do not do it continuously. But there are some good deeds, wholesome deeds that you do as a daily basis, as a daily routine. So you have to give a big concern to them. You have to give a big attention to them, and you need to motivate yourself to do those little merits daily. Now, when we take about the little merits, it's like speaking kindly to someone. It's a little merit. Saving a little animal's life, it's a little merit. People don't think much about those merits. People don't think much about those good deeds, right? They don't think that the results of those actions will come to their life. But remember, in the law of karma, it says, what you do will always give you a result, right? Everything that you do with your body, with your mind, with your words will give you a result. That is the law of action, the law of karma. So the little things that you do every day, little good things, right? Wholesome things, will give you a good result. So if you keep on doing these little good things every day, your life will be filled with merits. So that is why our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught us to not to think about your merits lightly. In life, always little things matters. Same goes with the demerits. Supreme Buddha said, do not think lightly about the demerits. So there are so many evil things, little things that we do in our day, but we don't give a much concern to those little evil things, little bad things. Remember, those little bad things will get together. It will adds up into your life, and it will make your life evil. So do not think lightly about the merits as well as the demerits, because those things will matter the most in our life. So do not let your demerits to take control of your life. Always you should increase the amount of merits, right? So give a big concern to the little things that you do in your life, right? Like speaking to someone kindly, saving animals' lives, right? Giving some donation to someone. Those things matters in our life. So collect many merits to your life every day. Do something that adds value to your life, and your life will be filled with merits one day. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. As humans, we all know that we make mistakes in our life. Mistakes are a common part of all of our lives. But do you know what most unsuccessful people do when they make mistakes? They point their mistakes to the outer world, saying that this mistake was happened because of that person, because of that thing, and because of this outer world. They do not admit their fault. Do you know what most successful people do when they make mistakes? They admit their mistakes and they move on. Remember, if you admit your mistakes, if you accept your mistakes and you start to move on, you will start to grow. You will start to develop your qualities. That is why Supreme Buddha said, these purity and impurity entirely depends on you. You are the author of your life story. That is why Supreme Buddha said, by one's own misdeeds and evil deeds, one becomes impure. By one's own wholesome deeds, he will become pure. Purity and impurity entirely depends on oneself. No one can purify another. So that means the purity and impurity entirely depends on you. If you do mistakes, if you do misdeeds, if you do evil things, those results of those mistakes is yours. If you do a wholesome thing, if you choose to do good, those good consequences of those actions also yours. So what you have to do is, you should always choose to do good things in your life. So how to choose always to do the good things? Remember, Supreme Buddha said, when a thought appears inside your mind, you need to consider whether this thought is good or bad, whether this thought is helpful for me and to the others, or whether this thought is going to distract my inner peace and the inner peace of others. If it is a good thought, if it is going to help you and to the others, you need to make it to an action. You need to do it again and again. And if it is an evil thought, you need to stop doing it. You need to avoid that evil thought. That is how you choose the difference between the good and bad, and that is how you choose to do always the good things. I know choosing to do always the good things is very hard. But remember, doing hard things makes our life easy tomorrow. Because all the good things, all the good achievements, all the wholesome things in this world are hard. We need to admit that. So do what is hard, do what is good, always choose to do good, and one day you can be happy about your life. Namo Buddhaya, Therwan Saranai.